Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Smith here, coming at you live, your host of the show, My Financial Success. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and that is financial freedom can be achieved in America, Part 2. We have a special guest on today. You were introduced to him via video last week. This week, we have live and direct from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Ivy Stokes. Ivy, how you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great, Eric. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. Just like to say hello to everybody out there in technology land today.
Technology, you gotta love it. Speaking of technology, let me just give you all just a bit of information. You are watching technology provided through Google. This is called a Google Hangout. Now, you're watching this inside of your Facebook environment. Some of you may be watching on YouTube or your Google Plus pages. So if you've got some questions, feel free to ask your questions. But those of you that are watching inside of Facebook, let me just let you know, if you look up at the top of the page, we are going to be talking about some very important financial related information. As you've seen in some of the promotions talking about this, we're going to identify the 4 challenges that are keeping most people from reaching financial success today. But Mr. Stokes is going to be sharing with you 3 solid solutions so that it helps you achieve the 2 goals you get up and go to work for every single day. So because this information is so important, there is a share button. Share the link of the page you're watching. Get it out to your friends. Invite them to come in and watch what you're watching, because this can change a life or 2 of someone that you know, like, and trust. Also, please, at the same time, if you scroll down underneath the video, there's a place. I'd like for you to put your just put in where you're from. There's a comment feed. We want to hear where everyone is, where you're coming from across the country. When you're about to place a comment, there is an auto refresh button. If you will uncheck that, that will allow you to put longer comments, because the system will automatically refresh and it will cause you to lose what you were typing. So uncheck the auto refresh, type what you want to type, and then if you want to see the feed of other commenters and so forth, hit the refresh button and it'll help you out there. So comment as to where you're listening from and get your questions ready. Throw them in the comment feed. We'll be monitoring those, and we'll get the questions answered for you today. We are about to have a fantastic time together. Mr. Stokes, let's talk about some financial successes. Now, you are the founder and proud owner of MyEcon. Tell us a little bit about what MyEcon is and what it's all about, and the purpose of why you all started this company.
Okay, yeah, great. I'd love to do that. MyEcon's a debt-free, fast-growing company based here in Atlanta, and we basically created a company to help people improve their personal finances. You know, there are millions and millions of people in this country that's been working and trying to save and trying to get ahead, but literally after 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years of work, they're still just paying the bills. And so we provide strategies that help people move past that situation and actually start getting ahead financially.
Wow, that's outstanding. Well, that is, you have a lot of work ahead of you then. One thing I must say is I'm very glad to be a part of your company, MyEcon. Just to share with everyone, I had the privilege, I shared the story last week, but some of you may not have heard it. I had the wonderful, unique privilege of meeting Mr. Stokes January 19th, 2013. That was a remarkable day for me, and that entire weekend really changed my professional career and my life, because when he broke down some things that he's going to share with you today, it really elevated my thinking as far as really financial success is not that difficult. And so many times people make it really, really difficult. So what I want to do is just open the floor up. I'd like for Ivy just to take you through a journey of what it takes, explain some of the things, why you go to work, talk about some of the challenges, and then we're going to get into some solutions, because really everyone is striving to take care of things, but it seems like folks are just not getting things done. So, Ivy, I'd like you just to get into sharing the opportunity and the information that My Econ provides. And then I want to talk about some of the success stories, some of the testimonies and stories that we personally know of people that have used the strategies and concepts that you teach.
Okay, yeah, great. I'd love to do that, Eric. I like to tell people that, the bottom line is if you're going to accomplish something, you got to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And in my econ, we talk about helping people attain personal financial success. Now, personal financial success is simply having enough cash flow to support a person's lifestyle during their working years and during their retirement years. And that's the key, because literally the money to support our lifestyle must be generated from two unique sources. During our working years, it comes from our labor as we work jobs or build businesses or a combination thereof. But later on, during our retirement years, that money comes from our investments or our assets. Now, those investments or assets can be in the form of stocks, bonds, real estate, 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, pension plans, real estate, any type of investment that generates ongoing income. And here's the idea. The idea is very simple, is that whatever amount of money we want annually during retirement, we need assets of about 10 times that amount in our retirement account. So if someone's making $50,000 a year while they're working and they want that same $50,000 a year when they stop working, they'll need about $500,000 in their investment account. If they want $100,000 while they're working and then they want $100,000 a year while they retire, they need $1 million. So the concept is very simple. We've got to earn enough money during our working years to support our lifestyle, but simultaneously, while we're doing that, we've also got to invest enough money so when we stop working, our assets and investments will be enough money to generate the income that we need to continue that lifestyle. Now, obviously, if a person's going to do that, they're going to need significant cash flow. And that's where the problem comes in, because most people simply don't have enough cash flow to get that done. And so that's the foundation of what we're all trying to accomplish every single day in our lives. That's why people go to work. They don't just go to work just to buy cars or buy houses or make a living. That's a part of the deal, but they also at some point want to be able to stop working and still enjoy and maintain those things. So that's what we call personal financial success.
Personal financial success. All right. So as we're looking at that, it seems to be, though, that, okay, everyone understands they're going to work for all of these things and so forth. But what is keeping most folks from really achieving this? Because, I mean, a lot of people make great money on their jobs. People have been on their jobs for a long time, and then others are unfortunate that they've lost their jobs, and we realize challenges happen, economic downturn, some lose their homes and possessions and so forth, but those that seem to have things going in their favor still can't get over that hump. What seems to be the challenge that's keeping people, Ivy, from really getting to where they need to be?
Well, as I said earlier, Eric, it's a simple idea. People are going to need significant cash flow to do that. Example, let's say somebody's making, $100,000 a year. Well, that's $8,300 per month. Well, they got to live. They got to pay their taxes. They probably have debt. And then they've also got to have money left over to invest to be able to build the retirement fund. So it's going to take significant cash flow. Now, here's the problem. There's 4 major obstacles that minimize the value of their cash flow, and in some cases, even destroy part of their cash flow. Let's talk about each. The first, of course, is limited income and inflation. The cost of living goes up faster than wages for many people. I like to use the example if someone was making $35,000 a year in 1994, about 20 years ago. And today that person, through whatever means, or they're now making $70,000 a year. That's twice as much money or dollars in their hand, but in reality, it's about the same money that they made in 1994. So as the cost of living goes up, that destroys the value of our inflation of our cash flow, because we're getting more dollars in our hand, but they don't buy much. See, during that same period of time, the price of a soda doubled, the price of cars doubled, the price of food doubled. So even though that person that was making 35,000 in 1994 and they're making 70,000 today, they've got twice as many dollars in their hand, but they're making the same money. And there's the only way that you can beat inflation for most people is either to become an investor or to build a business. Here's an example. If you go back, 6-7 years ago, when gas prices started to shoot up rapidly, very quickly there, and the gas stations raised the price of gas very quickly. So the gas stations were fine because they simply raised the price of gas. But what about the employees at the gas station? They didn't get a pay raise. So in reality, they lost money. They got the same paycheck, but things cost more. The grocery stores raised the price of food very quickly, so the grocery stores were fine. But what about the employees at the grocery stores? So I think you get the idea that in our lives, one of the things that we've got to learn to do is to make money faster or increase our income faster than the rate of inflation. And to do that, for most people, they're going to have to either build a business or become an investor or do both. Because as an employee, even though a very small percentage of the people will earnings will go up faster on a job than inflation, it's only a small percentage. It's got to be someone that gets maybe promoted from being a regular worker to management or even to upper management if they're going to outperform inflation. So that's number one. The second, of course, is taxes. We lose about a third of our income to taxes, and all you got to do is look at your paycheck. You got state taxes, federal taxes, FICA, Social Security, property taxes, on and on. So, we're losing quite a bit of money from taxes, and that hurts us financially. And then, of course, debt. Debt's a result of the first two. If, we got limited income, and then we're going to lose a third of that to taxes, and we still have to make a living, we're probably going to end up buying some things on credit, which, of course, causes debt, and then we're spending money on interest. And the last one is what I call less than ideal cash flow management. In other words, we're simply not managing our money for most people in the best possible way. And that causes most people to simply not invest enough money and not at a high enough rate of return to ever build significant assets. Here's an example. If someone invested just $500 a month, which is not a tremendous amount of money, and they did that at 9.5% rate of return for 15 years, well, they would have about $200,000. And if they did it for 30 years, they'd have over $1 million. But if that same person invested the same $500 per month and got 4%, in 15 years they'd only have $120,000, and in 30 years they'd only have $350,000. So you can see the difference in what the rate of returns make. And and according to statistics, most people don't invest $500 a month. So we've got to make some major changes to become financially successful for most people in this country.
Wow, that's powerful. And the fact of the matter is, so many people, like you said, as we go through these situations, it seems to me like most folks are just not aware or even conscious that inflation is tearing them up. They understand things are getting more expensive, but they're just not really realizing a way to overcome those things. They understand that I feel like there's nothing I can do. Uncle Sam gets my paycheck before I even have an opportunity to go home and spend it. I got to have a place to live, got to have a car, don't have the money, so I have to borrow. So a lot of people feel like their hands are just tied. They're handcuffed to the system, and they're chained to the system. How do they overcome this? What are steps then? You mentioned that people need to have a business and need to start investing better and so forth. But I think your camera fell on you, dropped down on you. But wh- where does a person start then to start turning things around for them? What's step number one that they need to do?
Okay, can you still hear me,
Yes,
Eric?
you're coming through loud and clear. You're good.
All right, good deal. Well, personally, I grew up in this same situation. I've come from let me fix my camera here. For some reason, it all of a sudden decided it just wants to act up today.
That's okay. Technology, we'll get it worked out.
Okay, that should be good. We should be in good shape.
We're
Well,
good.
as I was saying, I personally grew up in this same situation. I come from a very poor background, economically speaking. And so I grew up and did what most people, said I should do. I went to college, got a good education, got out, and was on that same road to build financial success for my family. And so over that period of time, I realized year after year went by, and it just simply was not happening. And the good Lord blessed me with some information, some wisdom and understanding. And we created a system from that knowledge that the Lord gave me that allowed us to be able to start growing and improve our finances. And we've had great success in doing that. And the three-step is called what we call our personal financial success system. And it's based on three smart strategies, okay? And each strategy puts money into your pocket. So what it does is basically overcome those four obstacles that take money out of your pocket, and this puts money back in your pocket. So the first one is minimize taxes, okay? And the second one is earn business income. And the third is what we call cash flow success. And that's where we basically show people how to start making money using money by doing things like eliminating debt or by investing. So we use those three strategies, and it puts thousands of dollars back in people's pockets. And then, of course, we've solved the problem because now we have that cash flow that we were formerly losing.
So when you talk about this cash flow, can you just give me an example or walk a person through some of the simple steps of what a person can initially? Because some of the questions that have come in, we had the audience poll the audience before. What are some things that people can do to immediately generate cash in their budget without even having a business or anything like that? What are some options that could be available?
Well, we build our whole system around a business, around those three steps, And the first thing that we do is we, try to educate people, get them to understand that everybody in America does not pay the same percentage of their income in taxes. And I think that was fairly obvious at the last presidential election. There's a lot of discussion about, this person's paying this percentage and this one's paying this percentage, and many millionaires were paying a very small percentage of their income in taxes. So what we do, first of all, according to the IRS, and there's a letter that they wrote in 2005 that basically stated this, that most people have too much money being taken out of their paycheck on their job for withholding taxes. You fill out the W-4 and it tells your employer how much money to take out to offset your tax bill at the end of the year. Well, because of lack of understanding, most people have that form filled out incorrectly. As a matter of fact, the IRS says 80% of all employees have it filled out incorrectly. So the first thing we do is we suggest that people go and adjust their W-4 and correct it. And we see that bring people, employees, immediately from $200 to $500 and sometimes $600, $700, $800 a month in take-home pay from their job, and they're not owing taxes at the end of the year. So that's a very simple step that many people can do. They just fill the form out correctly, read it, fill it out, and if they go to the IRS website, at irs.gov and click on W-4 calculator, the IRS has a calculator there, and they've got an employee that's advising them to also correct the W-4. So that's the first step. Second step is we show them, when you start a business, you've got tax benefits. There are things that you can get tax write-off for when you own a business and work that business with the intent to make a profit that you don't get as an employee. And so we encourage people to start a business of some kind and start generating some extra income. Because remember, when I talked about limited income and inflation, I said the only way you can beat inflation is by becoming an investor or by building a business. And so you start building a business, which is going to help you earn some extra money, plus you're going to get to write off some tax dollars that you were not writing off before. So those are two very quick ways to start putting cash flow in your pocket.
Folks, that's very simple. I have some single moms that are on my team that I work with, sharing my econ strategies, and that's the basis of why the Financial Success Show is what it is today, because these three simple strategies that Ivy is starting to take you through, when some of my colleagues corrected or adjusted their W-4s, these single moms immediately saw an increase in their take-home pay of around $300 to $350 a month. And what I really like about your system that you set up, Ivy, with the entire team, is that you have a software system that takes people's savings, they're able to throw it in there and project out when their debts can be paid off. I'm real impressed with that. Talk about your the cash flow manager product that we have.
Yes, we have what we call the cash flow manager, and there's two parts to it. The first part, of course, if you've got a business of some kind, it'll help you keep all of your tax records for your business. It'll help you lower your taxes. But the second aspect of that is what we call the cash flow strategist, which actually creates a financial strategy for you. People spend weeks and months thinking and planning a vacation. Some people spend years planning a wedding, and people plan to go to college for years, but I always ask people, how much time did you plan and strategize for your finances? Well, we created a piece of software that in just a matter of 30 minutes or less, a person can put their data in and the system will create a financial strategy for them. The system is totally interactive, so they can change information, rerun it, and make as many changes as they desire, take a look at it. And what that does, it gives people the ability to envision a plan that's going to help them attain personal financial success, and then they can follow that plan continually and track their progress. And so we've had a tremendous amount of success with people using that plan over the years.
I personally enjoyed it, and I look at some of the things that different individuals have set up in their cash flow strategies as far as elimination of their debts, taking this take-home pay. One team member down in San Antonio, I love what her results came out and what she's looking at. She took she received an extra $400 a month in her take-home pay as a single mom. She's putting her daughter through private school, and she has a $26,000 balance left on her mortgage. She put her numbers into the system, and she will have her entire mortgage, all of her debt, completely paid off in 38 months. That's without anything to do with the business. And we're going to talk about the business aspect of what my econ offers here in just a second. But just her own money, redirecting what was going to Uncle Sam and to the banks, she's going to be debt-free in 38 months. And that's phenomenal. So we also have a wonderful opportunity, as Ivy has shared with you, as far as with the business. Talk about the business opportunity, how that can add to a person's improving their financial situation. Because you said you need to have a business. So my econ offers an opportunity to help other people. Would you share some of those details with us, please?
Absolutely. I have personally been involved in the network marketing industry now for 35 years. And it's a very exciting, powerful industry. Sometimes People hear the word network marketing and they think, well, I'm not so sure those things work. I've heard some bad things, or this person got burned, or that wasn't in it. And I've heard all those things over the years. But this is what I constantly tell people: is that you can judge a tree by the fruit. And here's the reality: the network marketing industry generates $34 billion a year in revenue in just the U.S. And it generates $112 billion a year worldwide. Now let's compare that, okay? The NFL, the NBA, National Basketball Association, generates $4 billion a year. The Major League Baseball generates $8 billion a year. And the NFL almost $10 billion a year. All the movies made in Hollywood last year combined generated just $28 billion. So this industry is huge and just dwarfs all of those industries. But let's go further. And then people say, well, but everybody's not successful, and some people make, a lot more money than others. Well, let's deal with that also. Well, guess what? Very, very few people make it to the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, or become a star in Hollywood, because it's based on your abilities and your actions, because you're going into business for yourself. Now, let's talk about some strong points, though. When you can get started in a business for less than $200 startup capital and less than $30 a month, that's a tremendous industry. And that's what we do in this business. We get people started for less than $200, less than $30 a month, and that's tax deductible, and they're going to pick up tax write-offs that's going to offset that cost for them to get in business. Now, we've got some tremendous products and services, though. Our flagship product is our financial software that helps people minimize their taxes, manage their cash flow, eliminate their debt, and build investment or retirement income. That's a tremendous product that we sell all over America. Then we've got, nutritional products. We've got coffee. We've got our Family Shield program, which is a service that provides 5 services that people use every day. That product has has discount legal services. It's got identity theft. It's got financial counseling. It's got tax preparation and tax advice, and of course, life events counseling. So those are tremendous products and services that we have in our business, and these are products and services that people are using every day. And then we've got an online cashback mall where we have contracts with companies like Walmart and Sam's and Best Buy and Macy's, companies that all of us do business with every day. We've got contracts with those companies, and so when people go through our website and make purchases, those companies pay us commissions. We give the customer half of the commission, and we call that cash back. So the customers save money, and we earn commission. So those are, very legitimate strategies and products in the business world. And so we've got a tremendous business opportunity for people, and the network marketing industry has been around now over 50 years. Some great companies operate in this industry: Avon, Mary Kay, just companies that's been around 50, 75 to 100 years. And this industry is continuing to grow. And the thing that I like about this industry more than anything, and in my econ excels in this area, is you can get in business for a very small amount of money, less than $200, but you can get training, you can get mentorship, you can get motivation, and you can have people that's with tremendous experience and success help you build your business. And I've never worked in corporate America. I came right out of college and went into network marketing right out of college as a young man, and have been able to generate over $600 million through all of my business through sales over those years. And from my understanding, you don't get that type of support and motivation and mentorship in corporate America. And I definitely know you don't get that kind of
I can
opportunity.
testify. No, you don't get that.
Okay, all right. So you can testify. And hey, folks, that's what the American dream is all about. Is having the opportunity to get started and no glass ceiling. No glass ceiling. When I came out of Georgia Tech, they used to have this test that they would give you, and it would tell you what career field you should choose. Well, after I took the test, it said I should be a corporate lawyer or CEO. So here I am, 22 years old, and I said, well, probably I'm not going to be a CEO unless I build my own company. So right out of college, I went into networking with some great companies, and over the years, and then eventually, started companies myself, and it's just been a tremendous thing for me and my family financially. And I just don't believe that we would be anywhere near where we are today if we had followed the course of just, working in corporate America. Because literally, my buddies and many friends that I went to school with, at Georgia Tech, which is a fine institution, they're making, a lot of my engineers and have good careers. They're making, from 80,000 to 125,000 a year today, and you've got a few that's making, a little more, but they're not anywhere near where myself and my family are financially.
That's outstanding. Is glad to hear you put it in those terms, and just my personal experience being around the my econ family and the information and the mentorship. I just want to thank you for the time that you and I get to spend every month. We'll have late night calls and the advice that you're able to give me. And folks, this is what it's about. When I said earlier that my life changed in January of 2013, my background has been in finance and investing, financial services, and so forth. I remember a conversation I had with Ivy that really just caved my opinion about a lot of things that I had been doing. And at that time, I thought I was doing the best for my clients. And when I finally realized and got my arms around the 2-4-3 concept that my econ teaches, it just made the difference. And now I can just sleep even better at night knowing that we're helping people minimize their taxes legally, lawfully, and ethically. We're helping people make more money. And one of the experiences of one of the reps that work on my team, I just want to share this with you, Ivy, because I want to hear about some of the other success stories that people have had. Because one last thing that we have yet to talk about is the investment education that my econ provides. But through these strategies, one of the single moms that work on my team, last year, she told me she received a $1,000 tax refund. Now, she joined the company in March of last year, so she worked 9 months, 9 to 10 months in the business, and this year when she filed her taxes, not only did she increase her take-home pay about $350 per month all throughout those months last year, she filed her taxes, and with her business expenses, she received another $2,600 in tax refund. So she cash flowed total last year around $6,500, and that was not from business income. That was strictly her own money that she was able to maximize and get better usage out of. So, and those are, I'm sure you have tons of those types of stories, Ivy, that people have been successful. But let's talk about the investment piece. Why is that so important? Because that's the third element that we teach in my econ.
Well, the third element, some people use the word investment, but it's really the three strategies is minimize taxes, earn business income, and the third is cash flow success. Because we've got to have cash flow success before we can become successful investors. And the cash flow success strategy is simply where we show people how to make money using strategies and money instead of just labor. You see, most financially successful people, or millionaires, make a significant, if not majority, of their money using strategies and money rather than labor. So you think about it, most millionaires do not make all of their money just from labor. Okay, so and in doing that, we teach people what we call the cash asset cash cycle, which is basically the foundation of Wall Street. You get some cash, you buy an asset or build an asset using that cash, and that asset brings you some more cash. So there's a cycle. Get some cash, buy an asset or build an asset. The asset brings you some more cash. You take that cash and you repeat the process over and over. So you get some cash, you buy a rental property or put some money in your 401k or your 403b or buy an annuity, a mutual fund, a stock or bond or something, some kind of asset, and that brings you more cash. So that's what we call cash assets, cash. You're doing the same thing when you're building a business. You're getting the cash, you're buying a business, or you're using it to build a business, and then the business brings you some more cash. So it's called cash asset cash cycle. Now, here's the problem. Many people, because of some of the problems we talked about earlier, simply do not have extra cash. So our goal is to help people get cash and get it quickly. And of course, the fastest way to do that is to change the W-4 and minimize your taxes. And that works for about 80% of the people. And according to the IRS, and even a higher percentage of the people, that actually join our business. So that's $200 to $500 or more for many people monthly, immediately, that they can start putting in their pocket. And then we start building the business, which generates more cash. So that gives us two cash flow streams: the money that we were formerly losing to taxes, and now the money that we're making in the business. Now we take those two cash flow streams and we eliminate high interest rate debt. And that's why the system is called cash flow success, not just investing, because it would make very little sense for someone to, that's got a 21% credit card and they got an extra, they owe $5,000 or $10,000 on a credit card that's 21%, which is typical. And for that person to go start investing, that person would be much better off taking that extra $500 a month and paying off that credit card very quickly, because that's they're losing a lot of money on that high interest rate credit card. So we take the money from the tax savings and from the business and we eliminate debt. I always like to ask people, what would happen if you had just an additional $1,000 a month that you could put on the principal of your debts? The debts would melt away in a hurry, and very quickly you'd be, debt free. So now, once the debt's gone, you've got three income streams. You've got the money that you were formerly losing to taxes, you've got the money that you're making in the business, and you've got the money you were formerly using to pay debt each and every month. Now take those three cash flow streams, and now you're ready to become a really, really good investor. And what we do there is we teach a class that helps you with investment terminologies and strategies, and then you go talk to a financial advisor or whoever you want, or invest on your own. We don't sell investments or advise people on investments. We teach you terminology and basic investment strategies, so that our associates are able to communicate with investment advisors, or even be able to go out and do their investing on their own. Because the investment world is, it's huge. There are millions of different types of investments and products and services that people invest in, and they could even invest in different types of businesses, hotels and franchises, and it's just limitless. So our goal is just to educate them, and then encourage people to become investors and invest in whatever it is that they choose that they want to invest in. Because I think if we all just sit back and take a breather for a moment, it's really, really simple. If somebody's got $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month more than that requires for their lifestyle, And if they start to put that money in some type of quality investment, then guess what? They're going to build wealth and assets. And there's a good financial advisor on Main Street in just about every city in America. And if it's not one on that street, they could easily pick one up, from Google or the financial services industry or somewhere, and be able to get that process started. So that's what we really focus on in my econ is those three strategies. So we've got two objectives, okay? We want to have enough money to support our lifestyle during our working years and also during our retirement years. And that's the two. And then we got four obstacles that we got to overcome: limited income and inflation, high taxes, high debt, and less than ideal cash flow management. And we're going to overcome those four obstacles with three smart strategies. The first one, minimize taxes. The second, earn business income. And the third, of course, is cash flow success. So that's basically our system. It's very simple, and almost anybody can do it.
I appreciate that, Ivy, and that makes so much sense. And folks, really, anybody can do it. There's a button right up above your comments. If you like what you're hearing, first of all, you want to thank the person that sent you an invite. Either it was a personal invite in your email or in your inbox on Facebook or social media, or you got a notification from an invite. But there's a button that says Get More Freedom Now. That can be your ticket to making the necessary changes in your lifestyle right now today. So push that button and you'll be getting followed up with someone and you'll be receiving more information. So you want to check your email because you may have a confirmation link that you'll need to confirm so that you can get more free information in regarding what we're talking about. If you'd like to get started partnering up with the person that invited you to see this, click that button because you'll be able to get started. As Ivy said, less than $200. You can be in business for yourself, and by being in business for yourself, you'll be able to take advantage of write-offs that you're not taking advantage of today. Speaking of some of those write-offs, Ivy, what are some of the things that people could enjoy as write-offs that most people are not, and they're already spending the money?
Well, as a business owner, you get to do what we call leveraging, meaning that if you have an asset that you use on a personal basis and you use it on a business basis, then you can deduct the portion of the cost that's tied to the business use. Example, you've got an automobile and you bought the automobile for your personal use, but you also start using that automobile in conjunction with building your business. Now that automobile becomes partially tax deductible. But it didn't raise the cost of your automobile, it just raised the operation cost. So now you're leveraging something that you were going to spend money on anyway, which of course is your automobile. The same thing, maybe you want to go to the family reunion next year, and of course you're going to have family and friends there. And so if you just go to the family reunion, you're not a business owner, there's nothing to deduct. But if you go to the family reunion and you do some business with family while you're there, now you've made the trip partially tax deductible. So there are many write-offs that you can get using that same thought process. It's kind of like the idea that, a business owner in town buys box seats at you see in the radio business, they do it all the time. They buy box seats with, a sporting team. And then they use that as promotion, the cost of that as promotion to promote their radio station or, promote certain programs. And so they're simply leveraging money that they were going to spend anyway to build their business.
So what about this deduction? I personally have not been able to use it because I don't have children, but what about bringing your children into your home business? What benefits are there for families out there today that have children?
Well, it's very simple. You know, if you've got a teenager and they went to work at McDonald's and they worked at McDonald's part time and McDonald's paid them $200, a week, or just say $100 a week, and of course, which is 50 weeks in a year, $5,000 a year. McDonald's is going to deduct the money that they paid your child for wages for helping them build a business. Well, if you own a home-based business, then you should hire your child. You can hire your child in your home-based business, give them some legitimate work to do, and have them help you in the business. Now you can pay them, and because you're a business owner, you can take that write off for those wages. Just like McDonald's can. You just got to give them some legitimate work to do and something, and pay them a wage that would be commensurate or reasonable along with those wages.
That's awesome. And I was sharing that strategy with again this mother that has a child in private school. She's paying $500 a month. And I'm like, you should employ your daughter to do your social media for you, work your Facebook, help you promote your business, and let her pay for her education. And in essence, although the education is not being written off, you're writing off what you're paying to the child, but it allows those same dollars to be just managed totally differently.
Well, the thing I like about that process, and we've done it with all of our children, is you get a tax write-off, and that's great, but more importantly, you're teaching your child some additional skills and giving them some insight as to how to run a business, because, obviously business owners do better financially, at least successful ones better financially than just employees. So rather than just training our children to be an employee, and that's the only teachings and trainings that they get about economics, this gives us an opportunity to start teaching and training those kids about being future business owners.
That's powerful, because you're absolutely right. I mean, I see it on Facebook. People complain about just some of the things that they wish they had learned in school now that they are adults and different things. And unfortunately, being entrepreneurs or business owners is not information that's just taught abroad as far as in our public education. I want to take this time just real quickly. We've got some questions that I wanted to review to make sure we answered everything. Again, you're watching the My Financial Success Show. Our host today is Ivy Stokes, founder of MyEcon, and which is a personal financial success company with the ideals and goals of helping families achieve successful cash flow management and just achieve their financial goals. Some of the questions that had come in earlier, just wanted to ask you, Ivy. Folks are concerned. They like the information. They realize there's some things that they should have done. But one person said, I'm 58 years old. How can I seriously catch up? And how do I generate profit and increase my net worth? So what do you say to someone that may feel like they're pretty close to retirement and just have that fear that, man, I'm about to run out of time. How do I do this?
Well, it's like I tell people all the time, age has very little to do with it. And except and if we are going to consider age, here's the point. If a person's been running a strategy for 20, 25, 30 years, and now they're in their 50s, well, they absolutely know that strategy, if they're not successful yet, they know that strategy that they've been running does not work. So that person should easily be able to get in a business, get tremendous conviction, and go out and build a successful business in the next 3 to 5 years. One of our great leaders in this company has built a tremendous residual income, and he had been in sales all his life, had never built so he didn't have a great, he didn't have a 401k or any of those things, and so he realized that he was going to need a retirement. So he built a big MyEcon downline, and so now his residual income in MyEcon, is his retirement check. So, and being 58, that's actually a benefit because you've seen some things, you've done some things, you've got some experience, so you should be able to focus and build success very rapidly because you shouldn't have to do a lot of looking around because you've already been around and seen those things.
That's a. I've never heard you say that. That's a great way of looking at it because once you've gotten to that point, then it's you
Right,
have no reason to be messing around with anything else.
right, absolutely.
That's pretty good. Another question that come in is is there anything you can do about them taking out more in Social Security than in federal taxes? Is there anything a person can do about that?
No, Social Security is a set amount. Nothing you can do about it. Um, if you get in business and you start building your business, then Social Security taxes are only you only pay Social Security taxes on your profit, not on revenue. So, getting in business, building your business can change that mix. But as an employee, Social Security rates are set.
That's fantastic. So, some keys that were shared today is definitely get in business because a couple things Ivy said was that it is obvious today that not everyone in America is taxed at the same rate. So, being a business owner allows you to create deductions and pay taxes on a lesser amount. What about the taxes as it relates to taxes on your investment? What's different about that than taxes on labor?
Well, of course, being taxed in the investment world, you've got capital gains and dividends, and you've got different tax rates, and that's a topic that it would require quite a bit of time to go into, and that comes up under that investment education portion, and that's what I tell people, is the main thing you want to do in terms of building wealth is you want to do first things first, you want to get in business, minimize your taxes, pay off debt, and then as you move forward in that arena, you'll have the opportunity to learn other things in the investment education classes because that's just not something that you can teach someone and have it make sense in a 3 or 4 minute conversation.
Absolutely. So basically, what you need to do is push the Get More Freedom button now. Invest in yourself. Start the journey of your own financial education. For less than $200 is really, really, uh, it's just a no-brainer. I mean, oftentimes I see people blowing more than $200 on things that take money out of their pocket versus something that's going to turn around and put more money back into your pocket. And so Ivy has shared with you the opportunity that's provided through my econ and this ongoing mentorship. I can't say enough about the ongoing mentorship and the wealth of knowledge I personally have gained from you, Ivy, and other mentors that we have in this company. And I've been impressed that I've been able to visit and get to know people that have been working with you for 20 plus years. That's impressive to me. And so that's a testament to you and to just the character and the integrity that you have and what this company is all about. So I want to thank you for just being who you are and starting this information. Didn't mean to catch you there in your drink.
No problem. Well, I do appreciate that. Yes, we've been doing this for many years, had a tremendous amount of success, and I always tell people, there are many, many great businesses and industries in America, but I can't think of another industry that I would love to be involved in, nor can I think of another industry that has more potential than this one, because literally, there's 50 to 60 million people that will be retiring in the next 15 to 20 years, about 10,000 people a day. And many of these people need a rapid financial makeover. And that's what we can help them get done. So, it's just a tremendous opportunity. And we are all truly in my econ in the right place at the right time and in the right situation. So, absolutely, and we're going to have a tremendous amount of fun.
Not only are we going to have fun, we've had a lot of fun, and it's been a wonderful journey, but it's only going to get better. When you talk about the amount of people retiring, another question popped up is, will Social Security be around in 30 years based on the rate of our, I'm thinking they're saying unemployment. What are your thoughts and what do you tell people regarding the concerns about Social Security and so forth?
Well, there are tremendous amounts of information out there that says based on today's withdrawal rate and based on the money that's being put into Social Security, that it would be gone by the year 2037. And so of course some opponents of the system, say, well, it's not going to be around. But I would like to think that um, that our politicians, would have enough sense to raise the amount of money that they're putting in, and extend it on out further,
That's it.
or just put more money. So I mean, because the reality of it is this, is that and a lot of times people complain about Social Security, but let's think about it. They take 7.5%. They take 7%, 6% of the money from our paychecks for Social Security, and then the employer matches it with 6%. So that's 12% to build a retirement for us. Well, but it's easy for people to complain about Social Security, so I always ask them, how much of your check are you putting away for retirement? So I would think that our government's got enough sense to raise the amount that they're putting in or get a better return or make minor changes that would extend Social Security on out further. I believe that that will happen, but at the same time, before I question Social Security, I'm going to question myself. The government and my employer is putting some money away for me for retirement. Am I putting money away for me?
Wow. That, I think, is the question of the day. That's powerful because we live in such an entitlement mentality or entitlement world mentality, and most of the time don't ever stop and point the fingers back to ourselves and take responsibility of ourselves. And that's one thing, based on what you've said, my econ, for the person that wants to be responsible, here you can take responsibility of your own cash flow. He's laid out how you can correct your W-4, put more cash back of your own cash back into your paycheck, start your own home-based business, generate your own money to eliminate debt, and then take those sources of income and put into your own private investment fund to create your own personal success system. Did I get you correctly about being responsible for ourselves?
Absolutely. What it's all about.
Okay. So, again, push the button, get more freedom now. If you're looking for financial success in your own personal world, get started. Don't delay. There's really no reason. You could put back more money in your paycheck on the very next check by getting started working with my econ system and the wonderful team of people that are around my econ. If you're a business owner, I want to point one thing out to you. If you like this system, and if you're watching this inside of Facebook or any other social media device, but particularly Facebook, and you would like to expand your reach and be able to do shows like this, push the Get More Fans button, because you want to be able to create more leverage for your business and for your teams and so forth. So definitely you want to do that. One last thing, Ivy, do you have any success stories, that have gone through my econ system, through the cash flow success system? I know, like Miss Butler, any other person that you have in mind that you can relate some of these successes that that's been accomplished through my econ.
Yes, we've got thousands of great success stories in my econ. People that have, just in the last year, I know I met a gentleman over in Arkansas. He came in about, I think he's been in about 8 or 9 months, and during that first 8 or 9 months, between his business income and and changing his tax situation, he was able to cash flow over $29,000, in his first, several months in the business. So, that's a, real immediate success story. But then of course we've got people that's been, applying this system to their finances for 10, 12, 15 years. And, of course, those people have been able to eliminate the debt and start investing, and, you start putting away two, three, four, $5,000 a month over a period of time, you're going to build hundreds of thousands of dollars and eventually millions of dollars in investments and assets. And so we have tremendous amounts of success stories.
That's awesome, and I know I've gotten to meet some people personally that have done very well. And one of the things I like to say as we wrap this up, I like the fact that my econ, you have not created an environment that's about hype and fluff regarding the business and regarding the successes. Everything is so humble. Everything is just facts. Not overrated, not talking about Johnny making 10,000 a minute and all of this other stuff. I just really want to thank you for that, because it just really gives you a sense of, okay, let me just get in, take it step by step, and I can do this. But so many other opportunities out there get people hyped up and people flame out real quick, and it just seems like it doesn't last. So I want to thank you for that. Any last words or comments that you want to share and encouragement before we dismiss today?
Absolutely. Two things. The first thing I'd like to share is that the reason that we have our low-key factual environment in my econ is that the only persons that we compete against in my econ is against ourselves, and we want an environment where people can learn and grow at their own pace rather than having to try to compete with other people, spend money that they shouldn't spend, or keep up with the Joneses, because we're looking for each and every person to become successful in their own right. And then the last thing that I'd like to share is very simple but straightforward. You gotta get started to be able to become financially successful. So get started today and start saving and making money immediately.
You've heard it. Plain, simple as can be. Get started. Click on the button. Get more freedom now. I promise you, someone will follow back up with you and help you at your own pace. No one's going to be pushing you to go out and give them a list of 50 names and start recruiting, go talk to your friends and family and so forth. We're going to get started with you. We're going to do an orientation with you. We're going to give you the time that it takes to help you to start getting your personal finances in order. That's a promise. Ivy, I want to thank you again for coming onto the show today. It's been wonderful sharing your wisdom and your knowledge to our viewers and our audience. Again, thank you so much for taking time out of a busy schedule to come and visit with us.
Okay, it was my pleasure, and I look forward to doing it again one day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. So, folks, this has been a wonderful time. We'll see you next week on the next episode of My Financial Success.